Good news is we shouldn't have to meet tomorrow. Kaylee will be here at 7. She has parent-teacher conferences, so she'll be here. Roger offered up a hall pass and somehow he got it. So she'll be here. We will not need to meet tomorrow. I need to make sure I email Mike because he said he could be, so I need to make sure that he knows that we don't need to meet. Glenn, you keep looking better every day.
Oh,
A fine line
shucks,
now.
man.
You're looking good. Keep it up. We'll start out with the Ordinance Committee. We have 2 resolutions on tonight. One, Roger brought it up at the last council meeting. 922, it's number 2. I'll just go and talk about that one, and then we'll let Sherry discuss 822. We need to add that to the agenda. I forgot to remind Amy to put it on, so we need to add it. And basically, it's supporting issue 1, which is about public safety and the judges issuing bail. So, and I think that's Jason Ross sent us all the email. We just want to support that.
I talked to Mr. Skelton about it too.
I figured maybe you might before you throw that on there. I think that's one of the first times you solicited advice or anything, but pretty impressive.
We might want to make note of that.
Yeah. Got it.
Went to the expert.
Okay. Sherry, 822, it's accepting the Budget Commission. I think what we have to do, and I think I have that right, well, after Amy will read it, I'll get a motion. I'll need a motion after the reading to accept the resolution, then a second, then we'll do roll call, and then it'll be in effect. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Anything else on that?
No, unless anybody has any questions, but I think we went over last time.
Yeah,
what
you
the
went over
amounts are and
everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoops, number 3 shouldn't even be on there. Max, Lisa Reed's request for the vacant properties for the vacating the alley. Where we at on that?
She was told that you're talking about RHDD.
Yes,
She's gonna get a survey done.
that's on her penny.
Yeah.
Good,
Yep, and then it's $1,000 if she wants to.
because you never know what's underneath that alley, right?
They're not planning on building on that alley, so there's,
Yeah.
as long as they leave it, it's fine.
Okay. So
I
that's,
haven't heard anything back from her since I communicated that. with her.
okay,
She said, okay.
okay.
We did get an email from Kaylee, Patrick Unger.
Yeah, somebody.
That's over with.
That's, yeah, that's all.
Yeah,
That's resolved.
Yep.
that's
Good.
resolved.
All right.
You just trying to get a buck. Shouldn't probably say that on there, but I'll take the hard email
Right.
on that one.
Right.
I'll let you off the hook. 33-22, did you guys have a meeting on that? Mr. Mills?
What number was that?
It's about the building permits. and
Yes,
codes.
yeah, and I was gonna
So
go
we-
over that. Yeah,
Okay, so,
I think we all came to an agreement. Basically, the ordinance will stand, and we just removed mainly interior and some exterior. Bob Beaumont is sending that to Amy to
to get it back on the
the
agenda.
resolution of, what we agreed upon. So
We kept the
it'll be,
fees that were in the original ordinance. We did change the fees.
Okay. Bob, it'll just be introduced as a new ordinance?
You can introduce it as a new ordinance, did you ever see one reading before?
No, we passed an emergency.
Oh, but the mayor didn't sign it.
Correct.
Right.
You vetoed
No,
it.
Yes,
signed it.
yes.
Yeah.
I signed it, vetoed it, yeah.
So it needs to
Just
be a new one?
ordinance. Okay.
So is 33 in the book vetoed?
Yes.
You
It's in
probably have
there.
to leave it.
Gotta just
Yeah,
leave it
we'll
in there,
have to
and then
leave,
make
yeah,
a new
we'll
one.
have to leave it in the ordinance book, correct?
Right.
And
The
then,
one that was vetoed.
yes,
I don't know why.
right,
It's been vetoed.
right.
I would
And
think
council
you'd
didn't
want-
override the veto.
Take it out.
Oh,
Do we want a record because it's?
It's not gonna take up, it's only taking up a page. I guess.
No, but that's the sequence numbers. Is that gonna be a
Right,
question
is the,
down the-
right, is the
I would
ordinance,
leave it in the
ordinance
book.
number.
I've
Right.
seen other
just
ones,
the-
Bob, if I can say, I've seen other ones before that it's noted on there that it was vetoed in the date and it's kept right in there because the auditors will look, just like he's saying for the number sequence. So just leave it in there, vetoed.
Yeah.
the date that
but
was
what I'm
vetoed?
saying is when they codify ordinances, the next
Yeah,
time
just
they
want-
don't put the new,
Yeah.
that ordinance in our book.
Right.
Because it was never passed.
Oh, I
Gotcha.
would think, I thought you were talking
Yeah.
the binder downstairs.
Okay.
I think you just won't send it.
Right. Okay, then these next 42, 43, 44, and 45, since Councilwoman Andrews will be here, those will all need passed emergency.
Welcome to what the credit card and tickets for, so who wants-
No, she'll be here, so.
Okay.
I mean, because. As we'll get it
That's fine.
going.
Yeah.
So we're good. Okay. Any other ordinances for our next meeting? We know that one. For the permits. Any others?
Lana,
We're
you gonna,
thinking?
Lana, you gonna need ordinance or resolution for next meeting? Pace.
I think we should probably talk about that. But now or never.
Sure, Lanny, we're at the ordinance part. Bring it on.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not a legislator, probably ever worked in a legislator, so.
It's always giving me the crappy
Were
chairs.
were there council members here?
I
tonight
watch
that were
them move
involved
them
in
around.
the conversation on the PACE financing program, or do we need to go over that real quick?
I think everyone was here for pace.
So I just pulled up the article and I think they were here in 2020, if that's correct. Basically, essentially, PACE financing is a financial tool where, think of it as a loan, but it's not attached to an individual or a business. It's actually attached to the property itself. And the premiums due on that loan when your property taxes are due. Someone sells the building, that loan is still attached and follows the property. But given that the loan is due when your property taxes are due, what it essentially does, it allows a developer, let's say they take out $1 million in PACE financing, it gives you about a year gap to when you owe a payment. And the PACE financing loan, it can cover anything that makes the building energy efficient. But, in layman's terms, what that means is it covers the envelope and the shell of the building, the roofing, HVAC. It actually covers elevators. So you could see where there are a lot of vacant buildings downtown where this would be an effective tool. My understanding is that council at the time supported this, wanted to move forward. What it really required to get it started, and there's a lot of things that happen at once, but as PACE has told us, it always works out in the end, but it comes from several different directions. But the first initial step is to find a private developer that wants to take out a PACE loan from a municipality. Once that happens, they are connected with a PACE then lender. Once that happens, we go back to council and a special improvement district has to be made. Basically, you establish what are the boundaries on where the PACE loan could be eligible. At some point, you also have to get the county involved because it has to deal with, property value information and things of those sort. Well, we have the property developer. They've submitted their initial eligibility application, and that's our friends, Matt and Paul with the Free Building. There are two things here. So one, obviously, we're going to have to have a special improvement district made, but there's also a slight nuance to this. It's called an inducement letter, which basically council would authorize Max Crown as the city service director to say that any payments they've made on the building within the last 60 days would be eligible. And that's not anything unanticipated. Whoever was going to be first into applying for a PACE loan, they're probably already going to be in on the building as far as financial terms, but we don't want to ding the first person. So this is probably the only inducement letter that council would have to approve. It's probably not going to be tonight unless the city service director's on the phone, but I know he's busy. So we'll ask him when he comes back how the cleanest way, thumbs up, just all right. So Essentially, it would allow them any payments made in the last 60 days would be eligible to be a part of this PACE financing program. As you can see right now outside the crew, they have not waited, and there's a lot of money going in this week and will be going in. It's going to be a fantastic building when they're done with it. But the inducement letter is something that obviously we are going to ask council to approve, just so any payments of money they put into that building, you know, in the last 60 days would be eligible to be a part of this financing process. Just kind of put it under that PACE umbrella. Now, I don't know the answer to this, but do we have a special improvement district already established for PACE? Was there actually legislation or an ordinance that said anything in regards to PACE, or do we just have to wait for this first lender? That part I don't know.
So.
I am not aware of anything.
So initially, when PACE was proposed and they came and spoke, I don't know what the exact stipulations were. I believe once you use PACE financing in one location, I was under the impression that the whole city becomes PACE eligible. And I think to make it simple, what you do is and I'd like to get with Tiffany Swaggart at the Port Authority to the biggest thing I see is you already have a historic district, like as far as our town, you know, everything's drawn out. I don't know if we need to agree on keeping that our PACE district or how, you know, where do we go from here? And that's, I think Chris with Bricker and Eckler probably is the one to ask that question too. But to me, we use what we have in place, you know, downtown. And then that's probably where I would say we all agree to start.
So in terms of where we're at, what we need actionable is having Max be authorized to sign this letter. And Max and I briefly spoke before a meeting today. Is there a way that we can do some kind of blanket, I don't know, vote where the city service director is authorized to approve PACE related documents? We were talking about that when we had to go to the meeting, Max. I don't know if you had anything more to.
That's
Would have to be ordinance?
that's a lawyer question. Yeah.
You're gonna have to pass an ordinance to authorize them to sign that.
But he shouldn't have to, this inducement letter is kind of unique, correct? Because he shouldn't, will he have to sign a letter with every project, Bob?
Well, I suppose if there's additional projects that haven't been accepted by PACE and they've already done improvements, then Max will need to do inducement letters on those, you know, for additional projects, but this is the first one.
Right. So, and I don't know, so there's not a blanket, like, if we make the downtown district PACE, if we call that's our PACE district, then each time it's going to have to be approved by city council to allow Max to sign the
I think
go
the
ahead
inducement letter is just for improvements that have been
made the
before the-
last 60 days. Right. But that's what I'm saying. From here on out, council will need to pass and approve Max to sign the inducement letter. But if we have an actual PACE district,
And
that
they
won't
should-
have to happen
they
every
should get it
single time.
approved before they start making
Right,
improvements, which
right.
would alleviate.
Right, the inducement letter, right, okay.
Where we're at then is they're already putting money in. They've already submitted their PACE application. They've already been connected with the PACE letter. We do need the inducement, or we need that to be considered. So I guess what more do you need from us then?
Writing an ordinance authorizing the service director to sign papers for an
And that's something
inducement
we can
letter.
do next meeting then?
You can, yeah, it's Tom, yeah. I have no problem with it.
We're discussing right now, it needs to be,
We would prefer it to be passed by emergency though, just because if the wording, if it's 60 days out, they're putting money in, they've already put money in several months ago. In fact, many months ago, they already put a lot of money into the roof. Now, they have to go back and do something with the roof of that building. So that's still technically an ongoing project. I just, the sooner the better, because, development and then the private sector, they don't really, there's not a lot of patience there. It's all about returning investment. So we would like to get it passed as soon as possible.
I don't know who would write who would write the inducement letter.
Well, we have it.
We already
You have
They
it.
have,
Okay. So basically that needs to be,
We just need an ordinance that authorizes the service
Authorizing,
director to
right.
sign an inducement letter from Lease financing. But are you telling me, Lanny, that we also need to develop this district? Pass legislation on that?
So that's not where we're at now, but yeah, the council would, my understanding, they would have to basically approve what would be the boundaries of this district.
I need to research that because I'm thinking we might have said we are, have the downtown historic district, and I'm pretty sure we said the Pace District was going to mirror that.
Now, do we know when Pace was here in 2020, was there any kind of legislation already voted on, or was it just like?
Yeah, well,
I tried to find something. I found where Ricker Nicholas sent us information on Pace.
was it a verbal agreement? that
I didn't
everyone
see
agreed?
anything that we actually took action on in council. But
Okay.
that doesn't mean we did.
I remember talking about it.
Right, I
That's
think
it.
it
I don't
was.
remember any action. I remember coming in talking about it. I don't remember any action.
Yeah, they did Bricker did a presentation,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it was just sort of, yes, we agree with that. And when we need to pass
Right.
legislation, we will. I don't know. I can
So
look
the
into that as
2020
well.
article says, council members agreed to pursue the program. Jones said, that's Chris Jones at Pace. The next step is to find a Pace lender interested in the Argyle project. So I'm assuming this was initially maybe. brought up.
Yes, Liz is who brought this to
Okay,
us.
and then at
yes.
that point, the city would need to approve certain legal documents. So I don't know if that happened after this. I wasn't with you all then. I wish I would have been, but I wasn't, so I don't know.
The only person that would know that would be Tiff, probably.
Should we make it larger than the historic district designation or?
To me, it's a great way to, it's a great way for people to obtain funding, and it frees up cash flow. So to me, I wouldn't be against making the whole city.
You think
Pace
some of the
eligible.
other old industrial properties that may be revamped?
Oh, that's a
Right.
good point.
Um,
Yeah.
There's no risk to the city, though. I mean, it clearly states in these documents and actually in the 2020 article that, there's no responsibility that's laid on the city. It really is just between the lender and the property owner. The only thing you're approving is the area in which this can occur, where the property with this financing loan itself, it's attached to the building and not an individual or a business entity like an LLC. So.
So we could say the historic district, or we could say the boundaries of the city of Coshocton.
Right, right. And I don't see any reason why you couldn't extend that out. I mean, unless someone had a great reason to not do that.
Lanny, can you ask the Pace people if they have a sample ordinance
Okay,
to develop the district, in case we haven't done so already?
okay.
And maybe ask them what their sample districts are. They don't do a whole city, but I like what you're thinking.
I think there's an example where actually, the county gets involved in this too, where actually an entire county could be PACE eligible, but when you think about it, and folks are already getting paid and the work's getting done, but it really, the only difference is, there's no kind of transference of, liability or anything like that. You're essentially giving someone a year head start to get these renovations underway and get a return on investment. Now, in the case of some of the private folks we've talked to, what that's gonna allow them to do, they're not just gonna sit comfortably for a year while they collect money and say, oh, I don't have a premium due. They're gonna put that money into another building even, which is, everyone wins. So I guess what we'll do then is just shoot to bring this all up in 2 weeks. And in the meantime, we have the inducement letter, the draft that we need authorized for Max. We can send that out to council. And in the meantime, we'll see if any kind of legislation's been passed. If it hasn't, then we'll get the draft ordinances and just get that in the hopper as a, where we're at.
Yeah, like for the district, I know in the past we've discussed, I don't mind doing the ordinance at the next meeting emergency, but after that, But we can get the ordinances to take their course.
Okay.
Or something like that. Okay, anything else?
No, I guess I'll be back in 2 weeks.
Be good to see you.
Always glad to be-
Keep those blinders on.
Thanks for getting the time.
Okay, any other ordinances for the next meeting?
Probably a couple of transfers. I'll work with the auditor as I review the budget and stuff like we're gonna have some transfers we have to make.
Street's gonna have some transfers for me too, but
Okay.
I need to get with Angie. She just gave me a heads up
Okay.
Friday, so, but we didn't get together today on it, so.
Mark, any other ordinances?
That's the only thing that I see at the present time.
Max, any other ordinances? Okay. Council, any ordinances you want to discuss?
Not that I know of, Tom.
No.
Michelle, Glenn. No.
Okay. Michelle, since Glenn's back with us, then
Okay.
I took you back
Yep,
off.
just
off the ordinance. Thanks for
Here
subbing in
you
for
need
that.
again.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, auditors report. Sherry, you have some stuff on here. I just want to make sure it's correct. I don't know if you had a chance to look at it or not. I think it's everything that you sent out in your email. What I have on
On the
agenda.
transfers or?
Transfers and the appropriations.
I think so. Yeah, I think, yeah, I looked at Amy. She sent me the ordinance and everything was okay. Yeah,
Okay.
the transfers and appropriation, yeah.
Okay, so do you have anything else for the next meeting?
No, unless we have ordinance transfers, that's it, but I'll email, all the detail like I normally do.
Before I forget, I know Mike's not here, but Glenn and Tom, can you guys email Tiffany Swigert, please, and let her know that you guys will be available to meet with her? Yes. Because I think there seems to be some confusion about what she was going to do and, but if you guys can email her, or I guess if you guys don't want to, I can email her the committee.
I mean, that's right.
Okay, I appreciate that. Can you give her Mike Gross's email as well?
Sure.
Okay. She said that she had asked for those and evidently I didn't follow through, so. I know, but I failed. I know.
Right.
Sometimes you just gotta look your wounds. Mayor, what we got?
Not much going on.
I know it's slow,
Not
slow month, slow
right.
2 weeks.
Exciting to welcome Lieutenant Governor Husted here for the Standard Power ribbon cutting. Not only himself, he was here, Director Carey from the Governor's Office of Appalachia was here, which me and Lanny, the Commissioner's Office, me and Lanny actually had him downtown, showed him need for a downtown revite, showed him buildings and the work that's going on. We are still patiently waiting on guidelines for the Ohio Builds money. We are ready with a downtown proposal that from consultants, architects, to do a downtown revite and get a plan together. The day after Standard Power's ribbon cutting, I was actually at an event, spoke at a round table. The event was called Amplify, and it was the inaugural launch of the Ohio Blockchain Council. So I spoke with CEO Max Yerzan from Standard Power, Darren Klinger from SPP, just a conversation on what was going on with Standard Power, how we are glad to be part of a brand new industry. Permitting, we talked about that. I met with Roger and Tom Barcroft on that trash contract. We also spoke about what we'd like to do, and under advisement of the law director, he's reviewing that, our current contract to see what our options are. I'm really getting impatient with the owners of the former Edmont property as well as the former Novelty property, as well as people and residents in our city. It's blight, it's eyesore. I've spoken personally with the owners of the former Edmont property, and they know where I stand. So there is not any funding right now for that property to be remediated, any environmental work to be done. Spoke with Tiffany on that. So advised Jeff Quarter to ticket them for vacant property under advisement from the law director today. So we will be, Jeff spoke with the owners or the listing agent of the former Novelty property. So that site should be mowed, and Jeff can talk more on that.
Mark, didn't we talk last meeting about going ahead and filing charges on both of those? That was supposed to be done after our last meeting.
That's what you said you were gonna do.
Yeah, I think Bob.
Yeah.
Said that.
We talked about the Moon property, we talked about the
Edmont.
not Novelty,
Right.
because it's listed for sale.
But the Edmont property, we were to file charges after the last meeting.
Well, you got, I mean, you know, the way I see that, the way I understand it, if we're gonna file charges, you have to give them 30 days to clear up remediation. I mean, you know, because the conversation at this point with them has been, you're waiting on funding, let's wait and see what happens. So,
That's what I was waiting, the conversation.
so
I
today when
wanted
I
to
left
see
the
where,
voicemail for
I
them,
wanted
they
to
need
see
get
where
a
we
hold
were.
of me, that registration needs to be done immediately or we will file.
So they just got they just got an additional 30 days.
No,
No,
we're gonna, if I don't hear back from them, they don't file. I mean, that ordinance has been there. They knew that and they was holding off, and knew we were holding off. Now that the funding has fallen through, that all those bets are off, so they won't have 30 more days. I expect to hear back from them tomorrow, but either way, if they don't make their registration at the end of this week, we will file charges.
Well, even if with the registration, the property looks horrible. We, you know, if we're not gonna push the issue on some of these blighted properties, we might as well quit talking
I
about it.
think, you know, in Bob and I's conversation, the problem we have with that, we can sue them and take the property the same way we did the Gilbert property. But then the city burden has to have the money.
yeah.
to
then
tear them
we're-
down,
right.
because we can't take ownership of them and then leave them sit. So that's our issue, you know, there's houses I'd love to go after in the city that are nuisance blighted houses, and we've got an ordinance that the housing committee can do that. But what do we do with them once we take ownership? We can't then let them sit the way they are, and we can't afford to go tear them down. So, you know, that's where the catch-22 is, it's all funded. You know, we go after Novelty, we can file charges, and he can sue for the property, so they've done nothing, it's a blighted property. But then what?
If these companies or these people know that there is going to be a consequence for not registering or not taking care of the property, they may have enough incentive to sell it to someone that is going to make use of it.
But unfortunately, the consequence is gonna be, we're going to file charges. We're not registering, we're not paying the $400 fee. And they're gonna go in front of Judge France, and as you've seen in the past, that's where it's gonna stop.
Well, and what we said about that last time, at least we can say we did our part,
Sure,
the judge isn't doing his.
sure.
Or he may decide, yeah,
The-
he's right, we are gonna,
The issue
Do something.
becomes what you put pressure on one, and I know exactly what they're gonna do. They're gonna sell it to someone else, and then it's going to
Or
be.
walk away from
So,
it.
or- right, or walk away from it, then you're in a foreclosure process that can take up to 2 years. So then it sits there. I told the current owner of that property that I'm becoming very impatient. So we will try to get creative and come up with something, but the something is what, I mean, you can find people, you can you can do anything, and I talked to Councilman Barcroft about this. We can take it, but then it becomes our hot potato. Like, so then what do we do if we know there's no money for remediation? I don't want it. I want it torn down. I want the owner of the property to take care of it. So that's,
Obviously, that's not happening. So there
Right.
needs to be a consequence for
Right.
that owner not taking care of the property,
No,
whether it be that
right.
one or other properties.
I agree. All right, video, we're gonna have I'm gonna call it a hype video. That's kind of what I want. Our town, Coshocton, Standard Power, have graciously funded a video production. It's a 90-second video. The production company's Matchstick Media. And we are probably gonna roll that out, I'm gonna say in the spring, late spring of next year. It's just gonna highlight our area, tourism business, our city, just to have a new fresh video. And our friends at SPP have helped us with that as well. Yodel is a company. It's a community calendar, and we are getting Yodel. So when people like to say, I didn't know that was going on, well, guess what? We can say, here's our community calendar. So talked to the auditor and worked with her to obtain funding from the city. She graciously agreed. The city will fund that for 1 year. I have our town involved in that. I have CVB involved in that, the chamber involved in that. Basically, Yodel, you can have up to 200 community organizations to have your events on that community calendar. So they tell me 70% of their content on that, they go to the school's website. They go to social media pages and look at what's going on. So a lot of that information is imported where the organization doesn't even have to do anything. So it will all be, and then you can favorite different organizations, different events. Granville has it right now. Zanesville has it in the works. It takes about 12 weeks to implement. So it will be good for our community like if you're planning an event, then this is going on. So you can go, it'll be not only a way for the community to say, hey, I want to go to this event, but also, hey, I'm planning an event. I can go to the calendar and say, I don't want to have it that weekend because there's 6 other things going on that weekend. So I think we've needed it for a couple of years, and I can't wait to make it happen. So
Chat won't get any unexpected business.
right, yeah.
So how do I go on Yodel and put my event on there if I have something I want to put on there?
So there will be, and we're still in the very beginning stage, there will be like probably one email, one person to contact, where it won't be anyone from any local organization. You will email or call representing your organization to one point of contact, or maybe 2. I'm not sure. We're having a kickoff meeting in the next couple weeks. So I'll let you know. But once again, it'll be one point of contact. That way it should simplify the process. I can't wait to try it. I'm optimistic that it will work as advertised, and they've been great to work with so far. So I'm looking forward to it. I think that's about all I have. Fairs coming up. Just want to remind residents, slow down, pay attention. Slow down, slow down, like leave 5 minutes sooner. Dairy
haven't
Mart,
thrown any
Cir-
bricks.
Circle K is open 24 hours. I haven't thrown any bricks yet. They've been behaving in my neighborhood, but I want that all over town. That's all I ask. Slow down. Circle K is open 24 hours. They're not gonna close. You can get your pull or pop whenever. And if anyone has any questions, I'll answer any questions.
Any questions for the mayor?
It was Granville, is that what you had me Google?
Yeah,
Granville
I just-
Community
yeah,
Calendar?
just
I will
Granville,
add it.
right.
It's very nice.
yeah.
Because when
It's-
Mark came over to talk to me about it, and he had me Google and search it, and there's, I mean, they have tons
So
of
one
events on
person,
there, so,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
oh, no, it's just very nice if you want to take a look at it, so, yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
that's why I
I
was
think
like,
it's
well,
under
let's figure
Granville
out a way to
Community
do it.
Calendar.
But only one person is going to be able to put stuff on that.
So there will be authorized people to be able to do that.
Right.
But yeah, they screen, they ask you, basically, they're up to 200 organizations can be on there. And I think we will have at a local level who to approve and who not to approve. So you can't put some, I mean, if you have a crazy event, I mean, like,
Trinkets and trash.
yeah, someone will be watching that, but I
Okay.
think we have like approved users on our end. Like I said, we're still, yeah, it's definitely it. I like it because you can like certain things, so you can filter, like if you go to, you support these events and you're already going, you can kind of like that organization. And then I believe you can follow certain things. So
Your favorites.
yeah, you have favorites that will pop up. And actually, I think you can even integrate that into your calendar on your phone or on your device. You can actually, it'll kick events right into your calendar.
I actually did use Zanesville's last year and put some of our concerts on there, on
Okay,
their community.
so I don't
Well,
know
I
if
called the
they're-
radio station and the lady called and told me, she gave me a website to go to.
Right.
And so I went to the website and then,
I think it'll bring it all under one umbrella,
Yeah.
and that way we can simplify. And if people, we can advertise that and all at once, here's what we have
What's that
going
run
on.
for a year? Is
Uh,
it a year subscription?
39.
the implementation, the setup was $3,900. And then it was 220 a month.
Oh, really?
And yeah, which is not,
Not for everything you're gonna put on there.
no, and we got, of course, I like to negotiate good deals. We got a great price and they say it's forever. But as you all know, nothing is forever. So, but since we're signing up before the end of September, we have exclusive founders benefits of like first service. Our price is locked forever. Yeah, we've never ever heard it all, but I mean, that's what they're saying, and I'm looking forward to
yeah,
holding them to it.
It's a good deal. The community
is,
calendar,
yeah.
yeah, it's a good deal.
Yeah, I'm done.
Max, you got anything? Oh,
He's still on the phone.
We got traffic light out.
Oh, man.
imagine that.
The sheriff called me.
I tried to call Kevin like at 3:00.
Which one we got out now?
Seventh.
Now it's 7th and Orange. And hey, I'll add,
Red light.
so if the traffic light is out,
Stop,
it's a 4-way stop.
please
Yeah.
stop.
And I believe a 4-way stop, the person on the right always has the first go.
Supposed to stop for a count of
And
three.
it's been like 50 years since I've been to driver's ed, so,
And if the lights are flashing yellow, you go through with caution. If they're flashing red, you stop.
right. Thank you, President. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Right.
Not rear-ending somebody. this morning. Okay, Max.
Oh, I guess I did, went to, New Philly with Fred Blocktail. The other day is a meeting hosted by Mega Fred and I both on that one called the TAC Committee, which is Transportation Advisory Committee for this part of the state. And one thing they brought up was, I think we really need to investigate going back after safe routes to schools money. There's a lot, and I'm talking millions, that not has.
Except for like building sidewalks. and-
Yes.
Yeah, I think we need to go after sidewalks.
What, this is kind of
Yeah.
what I was thinking for the first hitter is that especially in our LMI areas where we have bus shelters built now, is start replacing sidewalks to get the kids to the bus shelter safely.
Mhm.
So if you look at, Cambridge Road, most people keep their sidewalks up through there and everything, but if you're down in this area, the sidewalks are bad.
A lot of areas around the elementary school and high school don't have sidewalks.
Exactly.
Right.
So we would look at 14 streets and all that.
Denman, down in the lower part of Denman, I don't think. have it.
Thinking up to 400,000
I know we talked about that
a couple years ago.
probably longer than that even. And I
So-
don't know if the school board was not on board or, but we do need to readdress that.
So here's my question for you. Between the sidewalk and the street, whose responsibility is that property?
The trees are ours.
Okay,
Mowing,
The
mowing
grass.
and maintaining would
Is
be
this-
the property owners. It's
So what-
basically a right of way.
yeah, so my question is this, well, then I might be answering my own question. We don't know what's under that, in that median, if you have to dig it up or anything.
Right, it's
'Cause I know
probably,
some communities concrete it over from the curb to, so the sidewalk's a little extra wider.
All right. We done that over in that bend.
Yeah.
Sidewalk. I like that look personally.
It gives
Versus
more
all
room.
One thing with the curb.
Yeah,
Oh, well, like there again, you gotta watch and see, you got fiber or water lines buried under there. You're probably
Right.
not gonna go that direction.
and you probably, that's where all your, usually where your water tap, your
Right.
sewer tap, everything's close right there.
But
So,
that's not saying concrete can be dug up just like anything else.
Yeah. okay.
Anyway, working with the Meg on that, also went last week to Millersburg for the quarterly Omega meeting. And they gave a presentation on the AMWR funds that was released for this year. Yeah, we had the guy here, that Jay Stevens, it's part of AMWR, that's American Mine Reclamation. I don't know what the LME stands for, but it's taking money to reclaim mine grounds. Of course, Coshocton right in the bullseye of that list, because I think we're one of the largest, not the largest county with coal mines, so the state for deep mining activities. So next year we'll start seeing where we can, or this year for next year's funding, see if we can come up with a decent project that we can go after some AMWR funds. It actually, Shawnee had actually gotten $4 million for their theater AMWR funds, and that's where the airport got to 2.1 million for the new hangar. That was all AMWR funding, and their thought process was there. The airport's built on strip mine ground, you have strip mine around it. So from an economic development standpoint, we got $2 million for that. So I thought that's
we
pretty
have
creative.
actual issues with drainage and mine shafts filling up, so I would think that maybe we could receive some of that funding
Like the
to
past
actually.
time, the old theater's built on the mine, isn't it,
It is,
downtown?
it is, right, it's right smack dab on top of
We'll
it.
be able to
No,
get some
we-
money for that.
We definitely need some, money for some drainage. We had the Jay out with the AMLIC funding, and we definitely need that money more than for just a theater. So I would be very appreciative if we could secure that funding for many areas in our town for drainage.
So since we're talking about that, I do have a question. Have we looked up there behind the residents on Buena Vista who come into council last spring? Looked into doing anything else up there?
As far as up on the hill,
Behind,
put some piping in,
yeah,
and the problem they have now is we got a spring pipe. Kevin's got it piped into a catch basin. But if you go in the back of, let's say names,
It's Matt's and Niger's we're at.
Matt's and Niger's was who come in, but I think it's the next house.
It's the next house up.
Yeah, the
And
yellow one,
Williams,
yeah.
David Williams, is that right?
No.
It's the next house up from there.
Mhm.
He has piped to, there's a spring in that backyard. And he has piped that, so even today, if you go up there,
It's wet, it's
It's
wet
wet.
all the time, yeah.
it doesn't matter if it hadn't rained for 2 weeks. It's wet, I think that's what it's called, because the flow is not great enough to force it down. It dries up before it gets to you. But it's wet right there. Didn't matter what time of the year it was, because it kind of levels out there. So Kevin's wanting to go up there, put a catch basin in, or he's way under Boya Vista, get that water into the backside of Boya Vista's plan.
Okay,
Right now, we're on this big project at 10th and
right.
Oak, which has been on the, we told them for people for
I was just asked the other day. So
5 years that we would, in fact, I was thinking about last night, when I come over from the lake, was what we don't get, can we come up there and just make a point, if it gets bitter, salt, and a skid steer, can we at least keep that iceberg up, so Niger's, Matt's don't have that problem, try to help them out, so. Let's see, and we're striping in Roscoe, was supposed to be over there this afternoon, doing the center lines.
Were they?
And
Were they?
No.
well, when I talked to Matt Shannon, what time was that? About 3, or till 3, I guess. They were leaving Ferry Falls and going that way to do the center line. We was originally told they would be there this morning.
Right.
Didn't happen.
And that's
They were
where all the
No, they weren't there
businesses
at
were.
9:45.
I believe they were there.
I went
They
through at 9 to see, I figured they were working and wasn't anything, it was the striping company. So,
We were told they went to Las Vegas first.
Right.
Then they'll be back tomorrow. Our guys had laid out the, what's it called, parking spaces today, so they're supposed to be back tomorrow morning at, they thought they'd be there by 7 to 8 in the morning to start doing the process. That would be done. Kiwanis and Key Club worked this weekend, cleaned up the Millstone area. So thanks for them, like Shelley. Bachelor's actually running Key Club now, so that's cool. We're assisting the fair boards meeting, getting ready for this week. Unfortunately, they had a water line got loose there by Hunter Arena. They've got an area probably as big as that table that they had to dig up to replace it, so
brand new asphalt.
brand new asphalt.
I thought that was our luck, but I guess it's theirs too.
We're gonna see if we can help them out a little bit, get that patched in before the fair starts. We met with Sherry and Angie today. You know, we got that ODNR money for sidewalk maintenance over at Roscoe. A lot more involved with that state funding than what we originally thought, after Sherry made a lot of phone calls on our behalf. And she's got a lot of good notes, and just to do it right, we all decided, let's back up. Actually post bids in the paper, it's probably gonna be a spring project of 23. We have till like 24, I think, to spend the funds. There's a lot of things that we didn't know getting state capital budget money. It isn't just, we do the work and they give us a check, so. We'll come on that.
Just 100 pages of paperwork.
unfortunately, that's because of past shysters who took the money
Right,
and didn't spend it right. so
and
now
that's
you gotta pay the
exactly right.
price.
That's how it works.
On the 28th, I got a transportation improvement district meeting with Tiffany and the rest of the board. And then the 29th, we have a meeting here with the pickleball club. They're wanting to add 7 courts down at kids. Our rec fields, Yeah, just the three that we put in.
No, they say they're getting funding.
They
for the foundation.
can get funding for it, it'd just be a matter of putting it on our property, which that's grass we'd have to mow, so. And y'all know where the three's at now, we're not that far, it's really not. They want to put it
Yeah,
in.
it's-
more power to it.
That's crazy.
Then Dave and I have a meeting on the 29th with Ronnie Forts and the mayor and the administrator of Warsaw to discuss the Warsaw water line project. And Dave and Ronnie's been working on, to get X number of dollars in funding. This is what it would look like for the residents of Warsaw. See if they have the appetite for it, and if they don't, well, thanks for playing on their business.
Thanks for playing.
I mean, I think they should know up front what.
Oh, yeah, they should.
Right,
Yeah.
It's a different project.
It's all dependent on funding. I
Right,
mean,
no,
so,
Yeah, we said we will not impact our residents' rates for
No.
to go regionalized, so has to be a break even or better. And that's all I have, unless y'all have questions.
Questions for Max?
Mark had brought up at one time about four-way stops at Third and Locust. I thought that was a good idea. We going anywhere on that?
we, yeah, I can answer that because I think Max was off. Kevin has, actually, we're going to, at some point, Third and Sycamore, Third and Locust, and then Park and Walnut Park and Walnut will be a three-way stop. Third and Locust and Third and Sycamore will both be four-way stops. So Kevin's ordered LED flashing. The issue becomes, since Third is so wide, it has to be striped to move the stop sign out. And I told them we're probably going to want to put cement and post out when we bring that stop sign in. So people don't, I mean, I think they're $1,800 for $1,500 for one of those LED solar flashing stop
Right.
signs. So it's going to take a little bit of work, but I can verify he ordered them because I was standing next to him when he was on the phone. But that doesn't mean that it will happen quickly.
Great.
I think he was 8 weeks out. Like some other signs that we have ordered that are exciting that we need to get put up that are also 8 weeks out, I believe.
I
So,
understand.
Mark, is there, talking about widening? How wide, first, there's been a discussion on maybe putting a left turn lane on 7th Street, corner of 7th and Walnut.
So actually, what we are probably going to end up doing is turning that back to no left turn. It was always for years when the school was there, no left turn. I believe for the safety of EMS when they're coming out, it would probably be better at least 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. to make that no left turn. Just due to the fact that it's one extra car, if they're coming out of the EMS and someone's turning left, it adds danger there. And then maybe when traffic is not so bad, later in the evening, early morning, I think you'd have to engineer, you'd have millions in that intersection because you'd have to push that sidewalk over. You can't do that now because the water retention pond basically starts at the end of that sidewalk at EMS. Had a resident actually come in and talk to me about that because it's same problem we have trying to get somewhere and someone's turning left and everyone has to sit there and wait on them. So I think that's what we're going to do is just, I think 7 a.m., 7 p.m. Yeah, roundabout. I think for safety, we probably, and just congestion in that area, we probably will make that no left turn. Yeah.
Michelle?
For the Safe Route to Schools, last summer, Jen Andrews and Grant provided us the travel plan. when we were working on the bike path with the railroad. So that might be something that we have already or that they can update rather quickly for you.
Okay.
And then the other thing is I noticed behind the old People's Building on Main Street in the parking lot, there appears to be a sinkhole happening. It's in the middle of one of the parking spaces. It's about this deep and this wide. I don't know how fast that'll go or if it's scary or not scary, but I saw it, so I'm sharing.
Like in that first lot,
So
or is it
it's
second?
not the very first lot right behind the building, but in that, it's at the same area, but on this side. Closer to home loans parking area,
Not
but in the
alley.
cities. It's not in the
Right,
alley.
It's in the cities.
It's in the
like
city's
half-
parking
kinda
area.
Halfway down. and
Yeah,
then-
four spots in from 4th Street, if you're
Okay,
coming that way. And it's in the middle of one of the spots, because at first you know how sometimes semis can make really deep, it's in the middle, so.
Conrad does the busing at the school now.
Okay.
You may not- You don't have to worry like that.
you want to drive into it and check that out for me, Chuck?
Who's doing the busing out since Jim's not doing it?
Jake.
Jake Conrad.
Jay Conrad.
Anybody else for Max? Bob, you have anything?
I have nothing.
Sorry to wake you up. Hey, Dave, you want to take us through the utility report?
One of the key takeaways you saw on the billing side, the trends on overdues and red tags continue to climb. We've made a major effort the last red tag cycle, to talk to some of these people that are on the red tag list and encourage them to sign up for what we call payment plans. Because that helps them, they avoid another red tag fee to help them get caught up. People didn't realize also we're recommending, and we even put that notice, I think, on our new billing notice, is try to reach out to HOCO for assistance and to try to address that. We have had several people say, oh, I didn't know about the payment plans. And where that helps them, once they sign up for the payment plan, if they miss their payments, they instantly get shut off. But if they continue to make their payments, they avoid extra interest charges and the red tag fees, try to get that back under control. So that's probably the thing we're spending the most effort on right now in the billing office, trying to get that back under control, going back down to up.
Are there payments such that they don't fall further behind?
Yes, what it'll say is, we've only had a few. We had one guy who was 8,000. I think we give him a year, and he kept to his payment plan. But it's always the payment plan plus keeping their bill current. So they got to keep the current billing plus whatever we have. I just approved a couple of days. One was an additional $100 a month, an additional $200 a month, and that's appearing to help a little bit because some of these people never get out of the kind of like the credit card interest. They never get caught up. So we're trying to work with those to get those off that list.
Was that a residential customer who has an $8,000 bill?
How does that even?
How does that happen?
Well,
Can't find the shut off.
dead meter, and then he never went down to his basement for a year. And then he went down. He said he had 2 feet of water in his basement where it continued to run for 2 years. So, so once we did an estimate on how much water he used, we give him a significant, it was like 100 and some thousand cubic feet he owed us for.
Knock a hole in the wall to drain the water out?
But he did pay it though, so.
Are you able to put NoHoCo's information on water bills in the comment
Yeah,
section
we
that
did, we
way?
said, if you're having trouble, contact the HOSCO for possible assistance on your water bill. We have that notice on.
Is that income driven?
Yeah, that's income
NoHoCo's
driven.
Okay.
And usually when people are on record, we always say, have you contacted the HOCO, see if you're eligible. So that's probably the focus, doing some work. We got a few of the fire hydrants again, some of the ones repaired, they've knocked off already, so we're repairing them again, so.
There's a few fire hydrants around that need mowed around. They're covered up with weeds. Pleasant Valley. There's one. It's cleaned up. Yeah, Pleasant Valley and Cassingham, right on the corner. So how many fire hydrants are we still out with not working?
Probably out of service by about a dozen and a half.
We're in the midst of testing right now, and I know that I was waiting until they get done testing, which should be another week or so to get you another good number.
Right.
So approximately 18.
Yeah, 'cause I know we broke another, at least a nut yesterday on one.
Yeah, there was one sheared off last weekend, I believe, car accident.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay, cool.
Now, with that being a car accident question, do we know who hit it?
Yes, yeah, they have all the information. So the sheriff's office.
Yeah, so we all send them a bill for that?
Should be. Right?
Yeah, I mean, if there was insurance, that's
Yeah.
another issue,
Another issue, right?
which I don't know on that one. I can, I know who was out there, so we should be able to get a report on that and figure it out.
So why's the distribution down? Water distribution.
On work orders? That one you
On
talked
the second page,
second page.
completed work orders, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Whoops.
During August, we had heavy vacations. We
Yeah.
probably averaged man and a half a week off. We don't cover absenteeism on vacation. So we just gotta shuffle things around.
Okay.
Coming back up this month, I've already checked that. We're right up, we're done this month than we had last month, that a week ago.
Anybody else have anything for Dave? Good. Keep working on those fire hydrants.
Actually, we just placed an order today to get some, so I'll get to Sherry's auditors off here in the next couple of days.
Your auditors.
Sherry's auditor's office.
Let's see here. I think that's about it. I asked the grants. Does anybody else have anything? I have a question on the fences around swimming pools. What's the, any pool, I mean, even if it's above ground and they have the gate around the top, does that need a fence around it?
If it's an above ground pool that's 4 foot high, it does not require a fence as long as they can either block the steps up, or they can remove the steps from the pool when there's nobody out there. The ones that have to have a fence
Or the in-ground?
are the in-ground.
I think that ordinance is over and updated since 62.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
just-
A couple of years ago,
we have-
I was thinking it was
Yeah.
32.
Well, about the pumps, the 24 inches. The fence thing was put in
The
for
fence.
in-ground, the purpose was in-ground pools.
But then all that was revised, probably in 20 or 21. It was 21, I think.
We looked at
Some of the ones scare me that even though they're that tall,
Yeah.
little kid gets out there. People
I
driving
think
water across.
it was 36 inches or less, than this, or 32.
I think it was 32.
So they didn't require any kind of fence.
Tom, I've been getting an email about probably every Friday for the last 4 Fridays from a gentleman at the corner of Lynn and Wilson, complaining about ATVs, unregistered ATVs, speeding cars in the neighborhood. He's also, I think, been emailing the sheriff, so the sheriff is aware of it. I think his name is Brad Grower, maybe. Got an email saying that he did research and we're only safer than 23% of other American cities, according to the crime index. I don't know where he's getting his research. But I have been emailing a little bit with Jim that I guess the officers or deputies are showing up and he doesn't want to file a report. But evidently he feels there's ongoing crime in his neighborhood. So I just thought I'd bring, I don't know if any at-large council people have been receiving the same emails or it's just me as.
You're the guy that would have made it.
So we're 23% less safe than the rest of
There's,
America.
we're in the bottom 23%, according to him.
Come on, Mark.
percentile.
We need to work on that.
I feel pretty safe, so.
Well, I do too.
I want-
I don't know, like I said, I don't know where he,
Well, and the good thing, I know the sheriff's emailed him back and asked him to
Right.
file charges and or file a report. I mean, if you don't file a report, you can't do anything.
Right.
So,
1101 Lynn Street. This is
Lynn and
address.
Wilson.
But I know the sheriff has sent deputies over, and the gentleman feels he's not making any progress, but
the sheriff's responded every time.
yes, he has, via email and sending an officer to the house.
Max, you let Kevin know that appreciate him getting the sidewalk, staying on the gas dome, get the sidewalks fixed in Roscoe. It's a lot better now. They did a good job with that.
Yeah, get the one on the road fixed there at Fourth and Locust. Looks terrible.
There's a-
Yeah, there's a gas line
There's a
that
hole.
needs
Next
replaced.
to one of the new sidewalks in Blacktop. On Whitewater Street.
It might be a shut off.
I think there's a shut off there. I think there's something. I saw those today.
There's a couple.
There's some squares, which I think are shut off. This looks like maybe a piece of equipment, push the edge of the blacktop down.
I don't know about that.
Take a look at that.
This is in between the town ship room and the library or the museum.
Now it's down toward the
Visitor
far
center.
end,
that
across
one.
from, just about across from
It's
the.
not let loose under the
Okay.
road there.
Okay. Anybody else has anything? Okay, see you in chambers at 7 o'clock until Kaylee gets here. on more, turn left Evening. Today's Monday, September 26, 2022 at 7:04. And this is the regular scheduled city council meeting. Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews. Here. Barcroft.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Mishler.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Turner. Here.
Need a motion to excuse Councilman Gross. So moved. Second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Please stand for the pledge. Next stand for the invocation by Councilman Barcroft. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, we thank you for this community we live in. Thank you for this opportunity to serve the people that live in our community. We ask, Lord, that you would give us wisdom as we conduct the city's business tonight. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Council, you emailed the minutes from the September 12th, 2022 council meeting. Any questions or comments?
Make a motion, we accept the minutes.
More? More? Call the roll, please.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Oh, stay.
Any public input? Mr. Kreis, you have anything?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. We have an addition to the agenda. I need a motion to add resolution 922. It's a resolution of support for issue 1 which requires the Ohio courts to consider public safety and other factors when setting the amount of the bail.
I'll make a motion.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Resolution 922 is added to the agenda. Mayor, you have anything further to report?
Yeah, want to bring up and congratulate all the award winners at the annual chamber dinner. Especially Coshochtonian of the year this year, Bob Bigrig. And also our very own Public Works Assistant, Angie Williamson, who was named Employee of the Year. So now I only need 99 more Employee of the Years. Speaking with the sheriff and the hall before council, want to encourage the public, if they have an issue in their neighborhood, speeding, any issue, reach out, call the sheriff's office. You might get a faster response than calling my office or a council member. Once again, even my family members call me to tell me issues, and I encourage them to call 622-2411. That is the sheriff's office number, and they will address the situation immediately and as quickly as possible. They do work for the city of Coshocton. We have a contract with them, and we wish to let the public know that they are in charge of law enforcement. So if there is any issue, please feel free to reach out. If you don't say anything, your issue is probably not going to get addressed. So if there's a huge issue and you feel like you're not getting a response or adequate anything out of the sheriff's office, please contact me and I will address it. But just want to let people know that this is your community. You are part of it. Watch out for your neighbors, and the sheriff's office are there for us. So
Can I add something? on
yes,
there?
yes.
I just think if they do have the police come to their, deputies come to their homes, they need to make sure that they're willing to file a report as well.
Right.
So we get some things taken care of.
Right, and I ask, and I'm sure the sheriff would also echo this, slow down, pay attention. We know, they try their best. Most definitely, everyone else can do their part by obeying traffic laws, paying attention, and attention is what's creating accidents and speed all over town. So it's not just my neighborhood, it's everyone's neighborhood. Follow traffic laws, slow down. Like I said in committee, Circle K is open 24 hours a day, so they're not going to close on you. Fair's coming up. I'm excited about the fair. Anyone who wants to ride rides with me, Sherry, if you want to ride rides with me, we can ride all day. I will be out there all week and hope everyone has a great fair. And it's the one thing that I can say we've always done right here for over 150 years. So hope everyone enjoys the fair. Thank you.
Any questions for the mayor? Thanks, Mayor. Safety Director, Max, you have anything to add?
I don't have anything to add outside of what was discussed at committee, but echoing Mark's words on the fair, there is some traffic pattern changes, same as out there every year, but you know, traffic will be bad, just everybody exercise patience and they'll get you into the fairgrounds as rapidly as possible. And don't park your neighbors' driveways in, things like that, so. I'm looking forward to it. So I don't have anything unless council has additional questions.
Do I have any additional questions for Max? Well, Director, Bob, you have anything?
I have nothing tonight.
Auditors report. Sherry,
No reports. Anymore.
do you have a question? Do I need a motion to accept your transfers and appropriations that we discussed that are on here?
Yeah, Amy has them as an ordinance. Yes.
Okay, so the transfers that she emailed to you and the appropriations. Okay, so I need a motion. They're already in there.
They're already-
Yeah, they're already there. Gotcha. I'll catch on in a minute.
Mhm.
All right. Sheriff Crawford, you have anything?
No, sir, unless you have any questions.
Doing your due diligence. Chief Dreyer, you have anything?
No, sir, thank you.
Good. Dave, you have anything to add?
Nothing additional unless there's a question.
Good. Okay, we'll go into legislation. I'll ask the clerk to give the first reading of 4222.
Ordinance to establish a city-issued credit card policy, and said policy shall supersede any ordinances establishing said policy.
For the first reading of ordinance 4222. Need a motion to suspend the rules, and skip the second reading, go directly to the third. Barcroft,
Second.
Moore. Call the roll, please.
Andrews, yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Okay, clerk, please give the third reading of ordinance 4222.
In order to establish a city-issued credit card policy, and said ordinance shall supersede any ordinances establishing said policy.
Questions or comments? Question is, should ordinance 4222 pass? Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Ordinance 4222 is passed. I'll ask the clerk to give the first reading of ordinance 4322.
Appropriation.
Make a motion to suspend the rules and give it a third reading.
Okay,
I'll second.
call the roll, please.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Clerk, please give the third reading of ordinance 4322.
Appropriation.
Questions or comments? Question is, should ordinance 4322 pass? Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Ordinance 4322 is passed. I'll ask the clerk to give the first reading of ordinance 4422.
Transfer.
For the first reading of ordinance 4422.
Make a motion to suspend the rules and go into a third reading.
Second.
Barcroft. Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Clerk, please give the third reading of ordinance 4422.
Transfer,
Question is, should ordinance 4422 pass? Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner. Yes.
4422 is passed. I'll ask the clerk to give the first reading of ordinance 4522.
An ordinance authorizing the service director to enter into an agreement to extend the lease with the Coshocton Alternative School for the leasing of the former Armory Building Gymnasium.
For the first reading of ordinance 4522, questions or comments?
Make a motion to suspend the rules and go directly to the third reading.
Turner?
I'll second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Ask the clerk to give the third reading of ordinance 4522.
An ordinance authorizing the service director to enter into an agreement to extend the lease with the Coshocton Alternative School for the leasing of the former Armory Building Gymnasium.
Question is, should ordinance 4522 pass? Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner. Yes.
Resolutions. Clerk, two resolutions. Please give the first reading or give the reading of resolution 822.
Resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
Need a motion to accept the resolution 822.
So Barcroft. We need a motion.
We
This
do,
one
we
is
need a
the first
motion.
reading that I have a motion on.
I'll second.
Andrews. Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Question is, should ordinance 822 be adopted? Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Resolution 822 is adopted. Resolution 922. Clerk, please give the reading for resolution 922.
A resolution in support of issue 1.
Question is, should ordinance 922 be adopted? Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Resolution 922 is adopted. Communications, Max, if you would, please pass along the thanks to Kevin for the sidewalks in Roscoe, for the gas company that fixed those. And with that, I know our next meeting falls on Columbus Day, which is City Hall holiday. We're supposed to have the meeting the next day, but I know that if we do, we won't have a quorum, so we need to keep it on the Monday. And I know if you guys were off, I wouldn't want to have a meeting either, but I think we can. You guys get us everything, I think we can have our meeting on the 10th. So the date and time of our next meeting will be October 10th, 2022 at 7 p.m. We'll have our committee at 5:30. Have any other communications? Need a motion for the meeting to be adjourned?
So moved.
More.
I'll second.
Andrews. Please call the roll.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Meeting's adjourned.
Stuff I don't think it's our stuff.